Hi guys, so welcome back everyone. It's November 3rd. It's the trading day during the election. So by the end of the day, we should know who the next president of the United States is going to be. I was surprised that we're actually seeing a little bit of momentum in the small cap markets. BBGI is the ticker I want to be explaining in this video a little bit more. It looks like there might be a chance of a midday to an afternoon run, maybe even a power hour run between 3 and 4 p.m. We'll see what happens. So in a second, we're going to switch over to the charts. We're going to look at it, talk about some of the trades we made on it, and then see what we would like to see going into the afternoon, going into lunchtime. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Overall, there's not much else to talk about. I mean, the market in general is up 2.2% almost across the board. Dow Jones, SPX, NASDAQ, looking really, really healthy. I got to say, it's quite impressive. Even the EV tickers, all the EV tickers are green right now. So it's been a heck of a bounce we've been seeing here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the charts actually, because might as well just dive into the good stuff. On the monitor, you can see here BBGI, we're up around $395. This is an okay amount, but pre-market, I was already up over 400, and then in one trade, I gave back 200, and then into the market open, it was just chop. We didn't really get a lot. And I worked my way up a little bit, with some really, really small trades. So not really anything too interesting after the market opened until now. And so that's why I want to be really focusing on this one. So you can really see our swing trades are up a lot today. We're still negative in our swing trades because it was a heck of a last week, let's just say, and we had quite a bit of position size on a lot of these. So a nice little bounce back today. But really, we're only up $395 today because that's really what we were day trading. I think that was the only ticker we day traded today. Yeah, that kind of looks like it. Okay, so let's talk about BBGI. And actually, the first thing I do want to kind of discuss on this one is if we just come over to the watch list here and let's scroll down here a little bit. Okay, so USA Broadcasting Company, 8 million float. Okay, not too bad. So that's kind of usually in the category we're looking for. 36 million market cap, really nice. Their earnings, they were up on earnings. Overall, though, it is still a decrease on this company. So their earnings are still negative. Their EPS are negative, and they're still below than last year. So that's not really too hot. But they did beat estimates, so that's really important. And they have a kind of a history of not beating estimates and kind of constantly disappointing. So that's I think why it's such a big kind of news today, just because that trend has shifted a little bit. BBGI, I'm kind of not surprised that it's more or less a downtrending stock. If we kind of go here to the daily chart, or this is actually a weekly chart right now. If you guys are wondering, wait, this doesn't look like my chart. This is a weekly chart right now. And you can kind of see they are downtrending overall. Let's quickly go to the daily. And this is why I'm not really surprised. So it looks like their brands are mostly radio channels. And this is more of a kind of a radio-based company on that first look. And it looks like this is loading here for a little bit too long. So yeah, you can see the location, a lot of radio stuff here. Still kind of interesting. But overall, I'm not kind of surprised that an industry like this is fading a little bit. What we saw, though, in the past was, what I always look for is, how is the past price performance? How has this ticker behaved in the past in similar situations? Well, we've had a few spike days, and I've actually even traded this one before as well. It looks like we walked away with a small profit on this one, but this is back in like June. This was actually right before we moved to the unlimited account. So not too many shares. You can see here today we traded 32,000 shares as opposed to here we only traded 300 shares. Looks like I probably only did like one trade or so. Yeah, I mean, this day, not really a full gap up day, but we held our highs here pretty nicely. This wasn't really much of a gap up day, but this was kind of a follow-up day. This is the real gap up day, right? We open up here, we pulled a little bit higher, and now we're kind of pulling up again. We are finally back green on the day, so this has been a nice move back to the upside. We're right now forming a bit of a doji candle here, so there's a little bit of indecision here, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. So let's go ahead and look at the intraday chart. And we'll start, talking about this one pre-market a little bit. And this is going to be a little bit hectic here with all the trades popping up. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings here, and I'm going to say show trades. I'm going to remove that just to clean up the 5-minute chart. So because this one always gives you a really good indicator of what's kind of going on. So I think that's going to be important for us to kind of clear this one up a little bit. And let me just make this just a tad bit bigger for all you guys watching, so it's a little bit easier to see. I just realized this is all over the place as well. So BBGI, at first I was like, okay, kind of popping up here. We had a few other tickers we were looking at, but nothing was performing too hot. Specifically, which was that? It was JAX, right? JAKK, JAX Pacific, kind of a confusing company here, 3 million float. And then we had TRVG, a German travel agency, more or less. And then IEA, all three of these pretty much disappeared at one point. So then when BBGI popped up, I was like, okay, well, finally we have a little bit of activity here, looking really good. This was a 50% pop to the upside, and then we were, pulling back to the 9 EMA support. I actually ended up buying this one, took a small trade here, small size trade. And you can see I always increase my trading size throughout pre-market. It's very important that I have a little bit of a cushion first, and I never want my first trade to wipe me out on the day, because I've had it before where, my first trade on the day, especially like on a Monday or something, I'll go in with, I don't know, like an average size of like $4,000. And then that trade, because I wasn't really focused or whatnot, boom, goes down like 5%. And all of a sudden I'm like getting close to, getting stopped out in the day. So I never want that to happen. Even if I have, like a blowaway trade or a horrible trade, my first trade, like it's really more just to get the feet wet. And I thought this was a good setup. I took it and worked well. But what if this even flushed to the downside? You just don't know yet. You're still like kind of watching the ticker. It's a brand new one. There's not a lot of price action so far, so you got to be careful with these. A few breakout moves here, pull back, another breakout move. This thing was really clean at one point. It was breaking out, consolidating, breaking out, consolidating, breaking out, consolidating. This was a bit of a shakeout here, but I was lucky to walk away safe. Here, this was actually my big loser, where I bought the pullback here and then it flushed to the downside, gave back some decent profit on that one. After that trade, I was a little bit nervous. Traded a breakout, or actually a dip buy here, and then sold on the 90 EMA retest. I missed this big move to the upside, unfortunately. I actually ended up buying a 210 roughly pullback and then sold here on the rip. This was a really, really nice trade. You can see here I'm slowly increasing my position size. This was a 3,000 shares trade, which was actually unfortunate because I, again, gave back decent profits on this one, like another $200. So I did make mistakes here, but overall we were able to make nice moves to the upside. Another little pullback trade, and this was actually a very aggressive breakout trade. I bought into the high of this green candle here at 225, and then then I kind of shook myself out of this one because I was like, that was way too aggressive. Eventually, this became really uninteresting to me. We were trending below the 9 EMA, and I pretty much stopped looking at it at this point. And then it had this wicked flush. Just remember this flush, because this is what I think paved the way for how weird this one was trading today, because everyone kept in mind, oh my god, BBGI had that wicked flush. So at the open, I didn't trade this until we were kind of consolidating in this area and looked like there was a potential for a 9 EMA or a VWAP breakout. So I bought into this move higher. I ended up just getting shaken out of this one, walked away with a tiny 1 cent a share profit, which was pretty much a scratch, and then it ended up flushing again. So big resistance here, flush, big resistance here, flush. So now I'm kind of in the mindset that BBGI kind of constantly flushes. But at one point, we're down 10% of pre-market highs. We're finding a little bit of support here, and I did a little bit of a bottom bounce, which was quite nice. I didn't end up holding this, which is kind of unfortunate, but after 10:30, I was pretty much done trading, and this looks really good, and overall, it is a nice 13% rally. It's just hard to trade this because the volume was a little bit lighter at first, and then a lot of these moves had a lot of shakeouts. I mean, imagine buying this pullback here, looking for a breakup, being up 2%, and then being negative again, and then actually, in one of these red candles getting shaken out, or green candles. It's a messy spot right here. So BBGI for me is not exactly something like I'm super stoked about trading right now, and I won't be trading it because I'm done trading for the day at this point. I got a few other things. Oh yeah, by the way, talking about a few other things. I finished the recap video of October this morning. I wanted to upload it, but then a few other things got in the way. I was not able to finish editing and a few other things. So I'm going to be doing that this evening, and then we're going to be coming out with the October recap video. It's one of my best trading months this year, so definitely don't forget to check it out. And if you're totally new, consider subscribing. We'd love to have you join the community here. Whoa, let's keep moving on here. I gotta drink something. Hold on one second. Okay, so moving forward, how do we want to go forward with BBGI if I was going to be trading it? Well, what I would be looking for is really this 1.8 zone, 1.75 zone to really hold. This is the key spot. If this breaks, I'd be very nervous. Let's go back to the daily chart. So if you kind of scroll back here a little bit, you can kind of see that 178 or like 1.8 to kind of like 1.7 is big support. So somewhere in the middle of that is where we found a lot of support. So if we break that area, the next major zone worth looking at is probably, I don't know, 170. It's tough to say, 160, and then maybe very quickly like 155 or something like that. So to me, if we break this 173 zone or whatnot, it's a very, very quick road back down to major support levels down here, which, you know, you're risking maybe a total of 18% if we find support on that break of 1.5 and go down to 1.4. So I'm a little bit nervous. I'm really not a big fan of this big 180-day resistance here. And it sucks because at first, pre-market, I was like, man, this is looking hot. We broke above the $2 resistance, and then it looks like we were going to break above the 235 resistance, and this was looking really, really hot. And then I thought, you know, $2 was going to act as big support, but ever since that flush happened, I think it scared a lot of people. It definitely got me very weary on trading this one. So that was kind of unfortunate. So yeah, I mean, for now, I'm a little bit unease with this one because we're trending below VWAP. We're having a hard time, you know, breaking back above it. There was several attempts to really, really gain some momentum past 2. You can see a lot of buying volume came in here, but it was just not able to do it. And now it's really just selling off very aggressively. It looks like it's in again, a bit of a downwards trend here, short term. So I don't know. To me, my hopes are, you know, dwindling on BBGI, but if this one looks like it's going to flush to the downside, this is really what I would wait for, a confirmation. If this thing looks like it's going to flush past 175 and it doesn't do it and constantly keeps trying and then it constantly starts holding the highs, we've been seeing this a lot where if a stock should have dumped already and it's still holding the highs, that's actually a very bullish sign. So it's a very bullish for a stock to keep holding its highs even though it's consolidated and should have dumped. So if that happens, that actually could be a big buying signal. I think the way I would go about trading this one, though, is really waiting for this thing to start moving back to the upside if I was not accumulating at the 175s, and then really be trading kind of these similar moves where I'm, you know, if it's pulling back to the 9 EMA, start accumulating there and then trade it on the spikes to the upside. Other than that, you know, accumulating around 175 and then cutting your losses if it breaks this area is another way to go about it. But I feel like a BBGI is not a ticker that I would be too hopeful on until it really started moving back to the upside. So if this thing breaks $2 and then really starts moving up here, I'd be all for it. But just remember, this one still has a negative earnings per share. The catalyst isn't that hot. They just beat estimates. But it's still, you know, losing money and it's still down from the year before. So BBGI, I don't really think it's going to really break past 2 and then break past 2.4. That's my honest opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the video description below. Let me know how you guys traded it today. And just keep in mind, I mean, these small cap tickers have a way of surprising everybody. So it's not like I'm taking anything off the table, but for me, I would be extra cautious with a ticker like this. At least it has that 8 million float, so it has that spikeability towards it. Other than that, if you just check out over here, I mean, it's crazy. Almost all the EV stocks are up except Solo right now, which I don't know. I don't want to sound mean on this ticker, but just look at their website. This car will give you a good chuckle. So I'm not super optimistic on this ticker. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be an amazing car, but I don't know. I haven't bought into the idea yet. But overall, you know, the market very, very strong, and then EVs here, that industry is picking up. It's also had a very rough last week, so looks like we're seeing some nice bounces across the board. So overall, nice to see the market so strong. Let's see what happens tomorrow morning. I'm going to be super interested. Don't forget to drop a like, guys, if you enjoy the content. And if you want to do some trading live here and you're totally new, we go live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to review the watch list and then trade the market open. I think tomorrow's going to be a heck of a day. We're going to be trading with, you know, a potentially new president. So let's see what happens in the markets. That's everything for now, guys. Like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao, guys.